Hello, my name is Kuba, and today I'm going to talk about hacking and the stereotypes about hacking in pop culture. Am I the only one to have my Steam account filled from top to the bottom with random video games that I've bought on sales and never have played? Some of you don't know what Steam is. Am I the only one with a big list of medium I want to experience, but never got further than just buying them? And do you also feel that the books or DVDs or your video streaming wishlists are judging you? I hope now the answer is yes, Your Honor, and that you also feel guilty about it. That's why I've spent more than a few hours on playing video games, and it was worth the time because I've come up with a brilliant idea on what to do for an English class project. And they say there's no good in playing video games. Look who's laughing now. Stereotypes, according to Wikipedia, is an overgeneralized belief about a particular category of people. One of the first picks from my library of shame was Watch Dogs 2, the infamous game about hackers that is actually good, but was never as appreciated as it could be for its quality and its funky tone. But the only issue I had with it was how badly they've represented hacking in gameplay mechanics. Of course, the game is fun, but it just doesn't make sense that in the game about hackers, hacking is a minigame where you fly with your drone and connect pipes like in the games about hacking pipes. For real, I didn't buy a plumber simulator, did I? Of course, there are some real hacking representations in the game, like this one, look. Marcus is now going to connect his microcontroller to the local network. Looks cool. Well, for me, it was just holding the E key on a keyboard. And that kept me thinking, is there any accurate hacking visualization in any medium that mainstream is flooding us with? I kept playing other games from the library of shame and eventually started getting interested in the Fallout series. Long story short, the game's law is USA got in fight with communist China around 2077, then that has caused the Great War, which has changed the whole globe into nuclear wastelands, and the games take place after the war in 23rd century, telling stories of survivors and you know what, anyway, the games are really worth playing, especially because the terminal hacking minigame is more relatable to real life than the previously presented game. Here you have to guess a password from the given ones. We are still not quite there, but we are getting closer. Of course, I'm not anywhere near being an expert or even being a newbie about hacking. I've actually read one book in half, and that's going to be the base for my knowledge about it. So from what I've read, hacking an account can be done just by guessing the password. The guessing can be done based on the knowledge about the person we are hacking. For example, if we are hacking into a dog's love computer, the password can be something like Shiba123 or Gabe the dog. And with a very basic programming skill, we could make a program for dictionary attack. Dictionary attack is a form of brute force attack technique for defeating a cipher or authentication mechanism by trying to determine its decryption key or passphrase by trying thousands or millions of likely possibilities, such as words in a dictionary or previously used passwords, often from lists obtained from past security breaches. finally, I get kind of tired with all these false images of hacking. I really want to see the real, ultimate hacking now. And that's why I've headed to my HBO Go's wishlist, where I've found the famous, for its hacking accuracy, show Mr. Robot. And before I continue with the stereotypical vision of hackers, this is a really good show. It tells a story of a guy that is just living his life as a tech spec in a cybersecurity company called All Safe. And out of the blue, he's invited to the Anonymous. I'm sorry, it's F Society, which doesn't stand for Fabulous Society. And they want to destroy E Corp, which kind of can stand for Evil Corp. Yeah, no stereotypes. Anyway, I've watched the whole show, and the hacking looks how it should. Not a silly drone minigame, not a random signs and words flying with Godspeed over the screen. Just subtle, normal speed typing on a keyboard, using Linux distribution that is recommended for the job, using standard looking terminal programs that do earlier mentioned dictionary attacks, or presenting a modded mini controller called Raspberry Pi to connect local Wi-Fi. Okay, Kuba, but why don't you just show the real example from the show? Oh, alright. Here you have few fragments from the very first episode. Before we start, Elliot loves to talk to himself, and his narration is not cherry-picked. So this is Elliot, the main character, and this is his psychotherapist. As you can see, there is this one stereotype that IT staff are alienated from society with mental illnesses, but this one is deeply related to the story. Elliot has hacked her like this.
Do like her. Hacking her was simple. Her password, Dylan2791. Favorite artist in the year in which she was born backwards. Though she's a psychologist, she's really bad at reading people, but I'm good at reading people.
Here we see Elliot doing another basic hacking trick. Very basic. More of a social engineering skill. And we see another dumb buzzword.
I don't normally do stuff like this.
Am I crazy not to like this guy? Among some of his Facebook likes are George W. Bush's Decision Points, Transformers 2, Revenge of the Fallen, and the music of Josh
I'd love
Groban.
to do one of those.
Must I really justify myself any further?
Working on that shit, you know?
His was the easiest to hack. Password was 1234567.
And here he meets Ty.
Tyrell Wellick. I'm Senior Vice President Technology.
Elliot, just a tech.
Don't be so humble. You know, I started out exactly where you are, and to be honest, my heart is still there. So I see a running gnome. I'm actually on KDE myself. I know this desktop environment is supposed to be better, but you know what they say. Old habits, they die hard.
An executive running Linux with
Yeah, I know what you're thinking. I'm an executive. I mean, why am I even running Linux? Again, old habits.
Okay, this is a bit cringy. GNOME is a popular desktop environment for Unix-based systems like Linux, and so is KDE. It looks so normal and humanly that the show actually threw me away during my first try. And maybe, just maybe, this is why we have all of these IT brand stereotypes. Don't get me wrong, information technology is a really wide subject that is impossible for one man to know it all in a lifetime, but coding is just typing in a certain language, hacking is just knowing your tools and so on. Perhaps, maybe, We see the products of IT and we can't imagine that it was made by humans just like us. And that's why we prefer to imagine hacking being this and not this. I'm going to leave you with that question and introduce the next speaker with a microphone.